Good evening, sports fans. My name is Brightops, and welcome to a new series for Blood Bowl 2. Now, for those of you who are concerned, don't be. I fully intend to continue the Blightops Zealots. The people have spoken and they really want to see it continued. However, between my own slowly growing addiction to Blood Bowl, plus the fact that's how some of the votes are going, it seems like people would be interested in seeing a second series begin. And to that degree, I decided to accept that by starting a Lizardmen team. Now, as some of you have probably remembered, the Lizardmen were one of the teams that were, before we started the original Blightops Zealots campaign, they were one of the 3 teams that were being voted for, and thus were part of the tie. So, and from feedback I've heard from people, who are more interested in seeing. We have some fans who would like to continue seeing a more fighty team, where we also have others that would like to show teams that were more about handling the ball, more about that aspect of the game. So I found that the Lizardmen would be a decent compromise for that. But anyway, let us reveal who our starting team is made up of. First off, we will start off with our big guy, our Krexigor Grey-Vested the Hungry. He, like pretty much all big guys, he has Loner, which isn't great, since that affects rerolls. He has Mighty Blow, which means that he will, when he smacks someone, he's more likely to hurt, an ability that we are familiar with Cyclone the Destroyer. Sadly, he has Bonehead, which is his weakness. He is kind of slow. He's a bit of a slow boy. But we're not really. He's a giant dinosaur who's designed to hurt things. We're not really paying him to think. He's there to eat people and cause havoc. But yes. Next up, we also have Thick Skull, which I'm fairly certain Cyclone Destroyer also had, which just basically means that he is harder to actually injure. But a new ability that he's got is his Tail, which means that opposing players must subtract 1 from any roll they make to dodge out of his Grey-Vested's tackle zone. Which, it doesn't sound like much, but as we've seen with the Blightops Zealots, sometimes just that one in above or one in favor of or against can be lethal. But yes, now to move on. To introduce our Saurus players, starting off with Captain Serious Armor. As you can see, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, I will admit, the Saurus players do not start off with any skills of their own. However, with a movement speed of 6 and a strength of 4, with an armor value of 9, they're actually fairly solid players. They're not only that, they're incredibly quick players. Granted, their agility of 1 means that once they're engaged in combat, you can't really pull them out of it again, but we'll see what we can do. And as much as I would like to show off the rest of the team, the other Sauruses, that you'll have time to see them, don't worry, we should look at our third types of player, the Skink. Namely, we'll be looking at with Treasure Yarnul the Tiny. Skinks have dodge automatically. They are also stunty, which means that when they're making dodge rolls, they tend to do a bit better at it. Though they're not so good at the whole throwing the ball thing. They will also, if they actually get injured, they will also be injured a bit easier if they can actually get hit. You'll also notice something strange about them in that unlike all the other players we've seen before, At least not all the basic ones, not counting the big guys. General is not a thing that they can get. General skills are not something they get automatically. They have to roll doubles for. So these guys will be more or less ball handling people. They're also very incredibly quick about their ball handling because they have movement allowance. But yes, we will be seeing more of our people in the near future. Sorry, might as well just spend our last 10k on that, just for the sake of it. But you'll also notice that unlike with the Blightop Zealots, we not only start off with have actually been able to purchase a reroll going into this, yay, but we actually have something called an Apothecary, which means that in the event of an injury, we can actually roll a dice to try and basically reduce it. We roll the dice and potentially we can just ignore an injury. Likewise, sometimes the dice just does not come up well, and you'll have to choose between various injuries or even death. It depends on how things go. But that will introduce the team in detail a bit later on. For now, the Bright Ops Temple Guards have their first match to attend to, versus the Lapis Kings from Kimari, or Kimari, or however you pronounce it. They're Tomb Kings, a form of undead. And since no one has any petty cash going into this, no bonuses or anything like that. I gotta love just the little did you know messages that come with the loading screen. I just kind of wish there was somewhere in the game that you could actually just go and read, and actually just read all of them. Because some of them are long and the loading time can be short. And welcome to our home stadium, the Sacrificial Altar. Ooh, right, whoopsie daisy, I'll have to quickly, just after we get into this, I'll see about turning the commenters back on. Because I turned them off briefly in order to actually introduce the team properly without interruption. But yes, the first coin flip of the season. And we've lost it. Hang on, before settings, just...
Can you tell us a little more, Bob?
Watch out for the Tomb Guardians. They hit hard.
There we go. So let's see. We're currently making ourselves a defensive line. Now, as we can see, we've got Miss Lana the Golden, who is Miss Lana the Golden, Valentine of McKin, Grey-Vested the Hungry, of course, Conrad the Executioner, Cyclone of Despair, Lorda the Brawler, Treviano the Tiny, Sinister Seven the Mad, Corin Brands the Chef, and Michael Visor the Wise. Alright, this seems like a fairly solid defensive lineup at the moment. First kickoff. And pitch invasion. Random selected players are stunned. Ooh! Well, we've had a number of our people are currently stunned, though thankfully some of their Tomb Guardians are as well. At least 2 of their Tomb Guardians are as well, which is going to be very helpful. Now we are currently on our home pitch, which, admittingly,
They picked up the ball.
is.
I suppose I should say something memorable or funny.
Admittingly, this particular pitch would be more at home with the Tomb Kings themselves, but alas, the Lizardmen don't actually have a New World arena to select as our own personal thing, which is unfortunate, but yes, I decided to go with a nice sandy arena.
Is this going to be enough to come out on top?
And we've got a... Admittingly, they're not... These bony people aren't as tasty as, you know, a more fleshy team might have been, but... Well, there's only so much we can do about that.
So close to a world of hurt.
I'm sure they can still chew on some bones. Let's see. Let's see. Well, Miss Lana's gonna have to try and do her best to hold off Shia the Forsaken, while the rest of our team move up to... Well, let's get ready to make Amaten, however you pronounce it, stay interesting. Once we can get Cyclone of Despair back up to actually start to go and give Miss Lana the Golden some assistance, then hopefully we'll be able to prevent her from being completely dominated. But yes, already you could probably tell that while we do have fighty people, the Bright Ops Temple Guards are a lot far more maneuverable than the Blight Ops Zealots ever were.
Those players are very close. Smells like a fight is about to happen.
Ball is secure. Can the other team steal it away?
That gentleman is looking rather smug for remaining upright. Pride comes before a fall.
I will admit, I do have a soft spot for the Lizardmen. When I originally quite a long time ago, when I originally started playing the... Because
Intimidation is the key.
when I first started playing the original Blood Bowl, because this is obviously the second version of it on the computer. But when I originally started playing the original Blood Bowl, I started off with a Lizardman team, or at least they were the first team that I ever really had any proper success with.
The attacker has an assist.
It took a little while to get used to them, but I went pretty far with them. Let's see.
This is going to be decisive.
Normally I wouldn't have risked an actual engagement with a skink, but when we have those numbers working for us, we might as well take advantage of them. Might also be inclined to get tackle at some point.
Me hit.
Yep, I reckon that's what he'd say, if he could talk.
Just move Corin Brand over here to try and provide a bit more pressure on the ball carrier. as much as...
He's on him now, like a halfling on a hot dinner. Fist is flailing. He's following up, hoping to get the knockdown next time.
As much as I did not particularly want to have Captain Sears Armament within range of this particular Tomb Guardian, I kind of needed a movement up to keep pressure on their team to help lock them down.
Loosen the cage and let the pretty little dove, I mean the ball carrier, go.
Thankfully, it seems our skinks are getting incredibly lucky so far.
Knuffles balls, Jim. They're going for the ball.
Unfortunately, that ball carrier didn't have the decency of going down. Little bastards. Okay.
I think he's moving. No, he's not.
Yeah, boneheaded there was not good. But let's see if we can open up some room. Alright, we're gonna first move Miss Lana up here, just basically to see, in case this this bugger here decides to make a run for it.
They could follow up, of course, but they've wisely decided not to.
Alright, let's see if Conrad can give a whack.
He's about to get punched above and below the belt at the same time.
Well, it's down, but...
Put some pressure on the ball carrier. Move quicker.
They're attacking the ball carrier, Bob.
I know, Jim. I'm watching the same match as you.
Good chance to get Corrin out from the side of the pitch. And keep pressure on him. I'm not sure what his name is. I don't know how to pronounce their names.
Building a cage around the ball here.
Let's just call them not Egypt. Egyptian, not Egyptian names. Because that's more or less what Chimera pretty much is. They're like Egyptians, but more of an obsession with death and the whole coming back from the afterlife thing.
This player likes to be well assisted in a fight.
Wait, what? It's like peeling an onion. Remove the layers before you get to the good stuff.
We're gonna have to try and definitely give some support here.
On their face. That range they'll go down as if you were flinging a brick into them.
Alright. Where can we move you to be? If you're wondering why I'm moving Gravested back this way, the idea is we're going to try and pin these buggers down with him. now we'll see if we can open up some room here.
Hard.
Okay, a little bit of pressure off is better than none.
Just one more step.
I will admit this would be a much easier if...
And carrier too. They're dead. And as
Oh!
someone knows, it isn't always that bad.
Let's see if we can save him. No casualty. Current brand survives, still lives
Oh
to fight
dear.
another day.
They'll be expensive to replace.
I do admit we are kind of hindered by the fact that most of the other team seems to be favoring,
That player's shuffling off the field.
seems to have the thick skull as a class advantage. Which means they're actually fairly hard to actually injure. We can stun them fairly easily, but injure, no. Though, probably the counterbalance to their Tomb Guardian that I've just noticed is a familiar looking ability. They have regeneration, but they also have decay, which, for those fans who are longtime fans of the Blightops Zealots will remember, is common amongst the Rotters, in that if they actually get injured, they roll for 2 injuries, not just 1. Still, though, the loss of 2 of our skinks is kind of a problem. If only because...
Now it's just a simple matter of getting the ball at their feet.
None of...
It's never simple.
Which is a problem, because none of our none of our Sauruses can actually really have much of a chance of picking the ball up. And at least one of our skinks is currently off the field. And they've...
Wasn't this player injured? Am I
Oh.
seeing things?
No, he regenerated himself, Bob.
the regeneration. Annoying, but nothing we can really do about it. Alas, but... And unfortunately, because it was a level up that came because we booted them off the field, we don't actually get experience for it, which is a shame. Though I do not favor their chances of picking up the ball anytime soon. Sadly, I also don't rate Captain Armor's chances of still being standing at the end of this turn either. Because there are a few things that can actually outfight a Saurus, and alas, the Tomb Guardians are one of them. Though, that being said, it's not as overwhelming a thing as they could be.
Maybe we will see him on the pitch later.
At least it's only knockouts and not actual injuries. Alas, actually having block would be really useful. No, we're gonna stay here for now. Just keep pressure on the ball. Well, keep pressure on the ball, yes.
Now go on, buddy.
but also keep pressure on them.
Not a wise place to end your turn on the border of the pitch.
Let's see
if the player
here.
gets pushed into the crowd, well, the last time that happened, it took 3 days to piece the body back together. Fallen 20saurus came up from Slanhopek.
When the match was over, the elf was a wreck.
Let's take a quick look at that player. Here's the unmistakable sign of the player's eyes rolling up into his head. He'll be out for some time.
Alright. Just having them up there. I would have rather had Grey Vested move here to help lock these two down, but well, Grey Vested is a good boy. Not a bright boy, but a good boy. I will admit, the fact that we're up against, you know, bones and not actual meaty opponents probably isn't helping us retain his interest.
Superior skills.
They're gathering around that lone player, like halflings round a sandwich.
Alright, that's slowed
The attacker.
their potential attack on Michael Visor the Wise. And they're taking one of their...
They kissed the turn over.
Good boy, Michael. Very good boy. They tried to gang up on him and it did not turn out well for them. However, I have learned from my past mistakes. Let's just score this thing.
And this is a touchdown!
Boom! Touchdown! Just before halftime. That really screws with the players in the locker room.
We've also decided to, instead of going for the human cheerleaders, to go for the dwarven ones. Just to have a bit of a difference.
Wakey, wakey. One team's got some early knockouts back.
A shortage of 2 players is not insurmountable, but it's not easy to overcome either.
Alright.
Important thing, gotta keep possession of the ball and not lose it. Strike back would be terrible.
We're going to start off a little bit further back, just simply because I do not particularly want to give the enemy the chance to wail on our people. We've already got enough people who are currently recovering from knockouts. Likewise, it seems they don't want their bigger players up front to risk injury either. But yes, the Tomb Kings are interesting in that, yes, they're big and powerful, and they do have a pretty solid armor value as well. What if you can actually injure one of them? They're because of that decay traits, they can actually be fairly easy to hurt pretty badly. The fact they also have regeneration as well is kind of maybe it helps them, maybe it doesn't. No one can be quite sure.
Ah, good. He's got the ball. It's always embarrassing when they fumble that bit. This is going to be decisive.
fists bigger than ham joints.
Thankfully, we've got that extra reroll. Because I would hate for this particular drive to have ended so soon.
Sitting down on the job. There'll be trouble with the unions in this capital.
Let's see if we can at least hurt someone this round.
4 and 20 swords came up from his land for peck.
When the match was over, the old team was a wreck.
Alas, we cannot. At least, not at this stage. As much as I would love to take advantage of the fact of people to just stamp on someone's neck or something while they're down, at this stage, we just can't afford to risk players.
They simply have a better dog, or they hit harder.
We simply don't have the replacements.
They lose any more. The best defense is a good offense, or the other way around.
Let's see. We're in attack, so honestly, this will be an interesting little beginning. I might try and score again with Michael just to have one of the skinks so that we can potentially get someone who's a little bit better at picking up the ball. But we'll see what happens. Another pitch invasion. The fans are rowdy as hell. Alright. Sadly, Michael fell. Lord is down. Conrad's down, though a decent number of them are down as well.
The bigger they are, the thicker they tend to be. Obviously.
I'm willing to let this one slide simply because, well, there's no one really in range that we have to be concerned about.
Twinkle toes there.
Let's see, Trevor Yoli the Small will be going to get back here to fetch our ball. Let's see, H. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Move Corin up a bit. Just to give us a little bit more room.
That player is about to get punched above and below the belt at the same time.
Because as you can imagine, skinks are fast little buggers. Fast and dodgy little buggers. So potentially, we can, with a couple of decent passes, we can get Corin fairly far up the pitch before they can really respond.
They're getting up close and personal, Bob.
You need to be close. So close they can smell your breath and see the dead insects in your skin.
Unity is strength.
This player, the attacker, smells weakness.
Alright, first things first, let's get some people up. Next, let's see if we can knock some buggers down.
This player likes to be well assisted in a fight.
That was kind of risky, I will admit, because... But he managed to beat the loner check.
Hoping to get the knockdown next time.
That player is looking rather smug for remaining upright. Pride comes before a fall.
Alright, with people in position to check the advance.
Scoops up the ball with ease.
Let's go for it.
Did you see the pass? You sometimes miss the subtle interaction. Desperately to see something being hit.
Well, he messed that up, but... to be fair, I wasn't surprised by that. The skinks aren't good throwers. It's part of being small and shunty, and it's part of being shunty. It's because you're so small, you don't really have the arm length for it. Still, if nothing else, we are in a good position to lock down most of their team.
Guys, together. Is the assist going to be enough to come out on top?
Whoops! Down they go.
Down with you. Okay. Let's see if we can...
The ball is in the player's hands. What next? It's another handoff. It's like pass the parcel down there.
Well, annoying, but at least we are in a somewhat secure position.
Turnover.
You know what? From just this point on, I'm just gonna run it. Just as much. I wanted it to be fancy, just passing it and all that, but no. At this point, let's just run the damn thing and hope like hell.
The attacker has an assist. They're gathering around that lone player, like halflings round a sandwich. Good call. Intimidation is the key. It was one of my strengths when I was still playing.
Alright. If he follows it... Good. That gives us our
Guys,
opening.
Together.
Let's see, can we? Yes, we can take you down.
Oh, too easy.
Or at least we can move enough to block,
Twinkle toes.
to give you some hindrance. Let's see, who do we have to dodge?
That player is about to get punched above and below at the same time.
Unfortunate.
Moved right next to a teammate. Is the assist gonna be enough to come out on top? The attacker has an assist.
Our poor dinosaurs.
Going to be decisive. That's quite even Siege would struggle to untangle that.
Okay. This we can work with. Simple plan here. We're gonna open up some room. Try and... more or less try and cause as much interference as possible. Then we're gonna have our skinks just run like the devil himself is after him, because it probably is.
That's a solid formation. I want to see the opposing team have a go at the ball now.
So if nothing else, we will at least secure ourselves 2 touchdowns in this match. Potentially 3, depending on how things go from here on out.
Some defensive pressure gathering.
Don't you just love it when dodge works in your favor instead of theirs?
Highlight who gets hit next.
Admittedly, I do believe that heavy hitters will probably do a bit better of a job when we're actually up against a team that has less in the way of, you know, Tomb Guardians.
Well done. He held the ball carefully.
And might as well just secure this while we can.
Any advice, Ben, for the side that's down 2 touchdowns?
Take out your will and check your insurance policies. Keep away from the fans, because they're not gonna be happy.
By the way, if anyone would like us to swap back to a more human cheerleader or something like that, feel free to comment. I'm happy to do so, but...
Fresh start, fellas. You can return to the snow. Despite being in the lead, this team now has to kick the ball to the losing squad.
They'll want to get it back as soon as they can.
we're just gonna punch our way through whatever defenses they've got. It seems like the best move we can make at this time. Let's see, they can move underneath the ball, which they have. And they caught it.
The more the merrier.
But yeah, it's interesting to actually have after playing the Blightop Zealots for so long, to have a team that can actually get in a game of 2 up. A 2-0 game. It's new. It is a new experience. Not saying it's a bad experience or anything like that, but it's new.
Unity is strength.
Yeah, this will definitely be a look. We'll be able to show off our more fighty aspects a bit later on when we're not out strength.
To be well assisted in fight.
He's on him now, like a halfling on a hot dinner.
Though knowing our luck, next team we'll be going up against will be the Bloody Ogres.
Fair fight can be so overrated. There's always room in sport for a scrap like this.
Finally, we got an injury.
Well, at least they're not dead. Yeah.
And he didn't make the regeneration. Good boy, Gray. Good boy. Let's see if we can start punching through their defenses. Well, a little. Move Trevor up here to provide some support. Because see what's there. Sadly, we don't really have the particular strength to actually get rid of do a foul, at least not at this stage. It probably doesn't help that their armor value is so high. Just having the skinks in reserve in case they try to run it.
Should be good. He won't leave him alone anytime soon.
I do admit, I don't you can use skinks offensively. Though, offensively, defensively, they can be tailored towards that. Depending on what you need. They were definitely going to need to move Grey Vested over here. Oh wow, we're at the last turn already. Sorry, it's just... I know I shouldn't be surprised by that, but... This one just flew by, didn't it? I guess when you do something you love, time flies.
They're gathering around that lone player, like halflings round a sandwich.
The domino effect.
Let's see, they've still got one turn left. Let's see if we can rake up a few more injuries. At this point in time, sadly, no. Though we aren't quite done yet. Let's see who's value. You'll do. You'll do rather nicely.
Me hit.
Yep, I reckon that's what he'd say, if he could talk.
And now for their final turn. Let's see what they can do. I'll admit, Corrin did give us a scare early on, but with their near-death experience, but
within grasping range of the fans.
At least our apothecary was on point.
One less annoyance.
Taking both down when they have block, not a smart idea.
Go, big guy. Trample all over him.
And Trevor the Tiny lives to fight another day.
An incredible match. I thought my heart would almost beat on more than one occasion.
Now let's see what we've won. Yeah, let's re-roll that, because 6 is always better than nothing. And Cyclone has gained the MVP, which is good. Because the sooner we can level up the Sauruses, the better. And let's just check the leaderboard. We are currently ahead. We're currently at the top of the leaderboard. Let's see, and here's the Lapis Kings, who are currently bottom, because we not only defeated them, but we also have left them down a player. Let's see, who else are we up against in this particular season? We've got a Wood Elf team, a Civ Kislev team, Chaos Dwarves, a Nurgle team, the Elven Union, and 3 different Skaven teams. So they're gonna be interesting. They're also... all 3 of them have also won their respective matches. Whereas the Elven Union and Nurgle appear to have drawn with each other. So yeah, this is gonna be very interesting in the time to come. But that will be for next time. Until then, my name is Brightops, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Rather fetching line of t-shirts.